Hi, everybody. It's your old pal Chuck, and I am pleased to bring to you today from the Transformers Collectors Club Figure Subscription Service Circuit. All right, let's get the jokes out of the way. Decepticons will see this guy coming miles away. Even though, technically, going by his bio, he's not the world's best Autobot, nor is he someone who would probably fight the Decepticons. Well, even though, yeah, he would, because he's a con artist and a scammer. Uh, Circuit is based on a classic Action Master. Never had the figure, so I don't know much about it. Came in the standard box. Yes, these spikes at the top here I want to mention did dent the box. Now, some people have made comments about the stickers on the front basically giving away the figure and stuff like that. Personally, I hate surprises. What concerns me is the chance that that box will be in the hands of someone who knows what it is and knows what it's worth, and things can disappear. But, that's a concern, for other people. Like I said at the beginning, this guy's color scheme is loud. You have this great Bumblebee-esque golden yellow that's pretty much the primary color going across the top and the front. You have this great turquoise blue that comes right up the middle and off to the side here in the back with the hubcaps, or wheel guards, whatever you want to call them. You have a silver Autobot logo that goes great with the silver hot rod engine. Then, for the various paint details, you have this maroon color for the spikes, the lines, the detailing at the top that goes down the sides. You have this orange vent cover, and then you have the that yellow color, actually a brighter yellow color used for the spikes with these turquoise, seafoam green blue wheels and spikes on the side. Really, I mean, this is a very unique color palette. It does sort of match, because I did look at a picture of the original Circuit figure. Obviously, some liberties were taken because this is a Transformer. But, here's a look at the undercarriage. I'll give you a preview of what's coming in a few moments. But yeah, let's get to the transformation. If you've noticed, I've adjusted the camera slightly, because if you're familiar with this mold, it gets much bigger than the vehicle mode will lead you to believe. In fact, the technique has actually been named after the original use of this mold, lockdown. Basically, the legs locked down. It's quite interesting. First, what you want to do for transformation is go ahead and remove the engine. Unfortunately, I could have sworn on the original lockdown version of this mold that the engine vent here did rotate around to make it look like a blaster. Or maybe I'm thinking of the original animated toy. I'm not sure. But it's going to take that, put it off to the side, come into the figure here, and you're going to come in the back and then rotate down the wheels like so. And then what you want to do is come in underneath here and fold up the axe. And yes, the axe is still a very floppy, soft plastic. As you can, this mold was actually used, is a repaint of the Axor remold of the lockdown mold from Hunt for the Decepticons. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a mouthful. Next, what you want to do is come in the back and split the sides out ever so slightly. It'll basically go down the entire side here. And then, of course, part of the problem is this is a very asymmetrical mold, so things aren't going to break. I don't mean break as in, oh my god, the toy broke, but break in terms of the lines the same way as you would expect, and that's something we'll get into, my final thoughts. Next, what you want to do is go ahead and split the front end. That'll loosen everything up, and then you can just come along and fold the entire legs out. And as you're doing that, flip up this rear panel here, and then really the legs, that hip section really doesn't peg into anything. It just frictions into place. And once you do that, you can fold the wheels back down. Next, we're going to do a little chicken legging, because this is was a movie mold or from a movie-ish line. Fold the first set of joints back so the leg looks like this, and then fold it down on that inner joint so it's even-ish. The figure will still be quite tall even with the legs bent up like this. Next, what you want to do is grab the front of the tire and pull it out. It will, in the front of the tire, but front of the car, it will pull out on an angular joint, and then you can just flip it forward, and that will become the foot. Front of the car, pull it forward, and then flip it down, and you have the feet. And basically, you have circuit up and standing, and there is a lot of articulation down there, but we'll get to that. Now let's move up and look at the torso. Like I said, this guy gets big for a deluxe class figure. What you want to do, come in from behind here, lift up the windshield, bring it up over the head. You might have to push the head down slightly. Bring it down. There is a little notch. It will clip into the chest ever so slightly. You just have to fiddle around with it. You have to push up the arms a little, get those joints out of the way, and then that will allow the chest to peg in properly. It'll just snap in. There's a little tab there. So now you got the arms up. First, what you want to do is on the axe side, straighten the axe out. There is a great, nice little mecha live feature that there's a piston there, and it just goes in and out. You're basically, what you may have just seen me do it inadvertently, separate the shoulder, and then basically you want to rotate that around, and then rotate the arm down and out, and then rotate it at the elbow. So basically this section is behind, and then this section is forward, and then finally, just to completely go nuts and move every single panel that you can, rotate that side door panel around, and you have that arm transformed. This arm, of course, is a little different. Just going to flip the hand out, and then, again, you're going to go ahead, proceed to bring it down and around out to the side. You want to fold this end piece over, sort of like a shoulder covering. And then at the same time, you're going to go ahead, detach the arm from the windshield, straighten it out. And this does happen. The ball joint does tend to pop off the shoulders. It's unfortunately a little. I mean, most of the joints on this are very tight. It's just this one happens to be a little on the loose side. It is, use of the mold over time, and there you have the torso transformed and locked down. Circuit in his robot mode. Now, let me step back and you can get a full view of the figure. And here's the figure in robot mode. You can take the engine. There is a port on the side here, and that will peg in to be his weapons. Articulation is a little unique. It's also very odd. Outside of the legs, you will not have the same articulation on both sides of the figure. Again, it's an asymmetrical design. First, you have the head. The head is on two joints. You have this ball joint that can rotate side to side and go up and down. Most of the rotation will come from the bottom joint, which is just a swivel and goes side to side. Now for this arm, rotation is very nice. You have that ball joint, full range of movement, ball joint at the elbow, and you have a hinge at the wrist to fold it in and out. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough of the articulation to come up and do cool things like hold his face. This one, you do have the ball joint at the shoulder. It is movable, and you do have that ball joint at the elbow. But because of this piston system, it is a little bit more limited. So there's that. Moving down to the hips. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. If you remember on the back here, let me turn around and show you. You have this section right here is more of a the full rear of the car and bumper section. That limits the movement of the hip. You can only go forward and back so slightly, and because of the way the wheel is, you can't move it out at all. This leg, on the other hand, full extension forward. Oop. Just flipped them forward. He just did a little bow for you. Forward, out to the side, and slightly back. Again, it's blocked because of this tailpiece. Now, one cool thing, again, a little Mecha Live feature here in the legs. You rotate the legs at what would be above the knee, and that inner orange-y red type joint will rotate. It's okay. You do have that double knee joint. I mean, you can straighten the leg out like so, but I like to leave it bent. So you do have a forward knee bend, rear knee bend, and you do have that swivel. So you do have a lot of options in terms of wider leg stands, sorta. You know, remember only one leg can move out, but you can rotate things around like so. So yeah, so articulation is there. It's just that not as usable as it could be. Now let me come in and give you a look at his face. This is basically a straight repaint of the Axer head. You know, you have a great amount of light piping. This entire back horn blue section is all clear plastic. So holding it up to the light, you'll get a nice shine. But yeah, there's really nothing much more to say about it. I mean, this looks like Axer, and I think Axer was a repaint, or Circuit was a repaint of Axer, whoever came first. You know, it's a unique head, but I'm not really sure this mold works with the character because of just how unique it looks. Let me just scooch down here and give you a fuller view of the figure with all the unique colors and things and what have you. I mean, it's a fun transformation. It's just, and it's a unique looking figure. I'm just not really sure it works with this character. So yeah, let me give you my final thoughts. Circuit is a unique figure. I kind of like this very bright, garish color scheme. Others may not. What my real problem is that this mold was so unique and so indicative of Lockdown, using it for another character, like Axer, the original paint version of this mold, or even Circuit, is very difficult. You know, Circuit was never known to be an asymmetrical character like Lockdown was, you know, if you know his history, pacing things together. So having an asymmetrical robot where, you know, parts are blocking other parts and things of that nature, it just may not necessarily work the best. With that said, I'm not sure I can really recommend getting this guy on the secondary market. It's about $47 according to the invoice. If you want him, I would wait until the price comes down because I don't see a lot of demand for him, or it, I should say. So that's the best I can recommend. This is your old pal Chuck for Circuit. We'll see you next time.